What if you could legally buy a second citizenship, not in 10 years, not even in 1 year, but in just a few months? What if a single strategic investment, sometimes cheaper than a small house, could unlock a powerful second passport for you and your family, a real plan B that protects your freedom to live where you want, work where you want, and move your money however you want? And here's the part most people never realize until it's too late. This isn't some loophole. This is a real, legal strategy that a surprisingly small number of people take advantage of every year. But the window is changing fast. The old days of soft rules, cheap fees, and easy approvals, gone. A new system has arrived, and the timing of your application now matters almost as much as the country you choose. Because the 7 programs you're about to hear about all offer powerful benefits, but they each hide something under the surface. Restrictions, traps, or unexpected advantages that can change everything, and one of them has a twist so strange most applicants don't discover it until they're deep into the process. That one's coming up soon. Before getting into the countries, you need to understand the shockwave that hit this industry recently. For years, the Caribbean ran a race to the bottom. The cheapest passport won. Programs were dropping prices, stretching rules, and making approvals easier than ever. But in 2024, Europe and the UK stepped in with a warning: raise your standards or lose access to the Schengen area. So the 5 big Caribbean programs teamed up and standardized everything: higher prices, tougher due diligence, mandatory virtual interviews, cleaner financial documentation, much stronger oversight. And here's the twist. While this made things harder, it also made every approved passport far more credible. People hear price increase and panic. But in reality, this is the market maturing. If you get in now, you're buying an asset with more long-term value than ever, because weaker programs simply won't survive this new era. And with that in mind, let's begin with a country that offers one of the fastest approvals on Earth, but also one of the biggest surprises. Vanuatu comes in at number 7, the speed demon of the second citizenship world. Approvals in as little as 90 to 120 days. No residency, no interviews, no language tests. And for a long time, it came with a powerful passport. But here's the part many applicants learn the hard way. Europe suspended visa-free access for Vanuatu, and the UK followed. As of late 2025, there's no confirmed return date. So yes, Vanuatu still gets you into around 100 countries, including Singapore and Hong Kong. And yes, its tax system is incredibly attractive. No income tax, no capital gains tax, no inheritance tax. But this program is now perfect for only a very specific type of person, someone who needs a second passport fast and doesn't care about Europe. And if you're already thinking, okay, but which country gives the best balance of cost, safety, and travel? Keep watching. That answer comes around number 5 and number 3. Number 6 is Dominica, one of the most established and respected programs in the entire world. This program started back in 1993, long before most countries even knew what CBI meant. After the Caribbean-wide price harmonization, the donation sits at $200,000 for a single applicant and around $250,000 for a family of 4. But once you add in due diligence fees and government charges, families land closer to $300,000 total. Still, Dominica's passport is strong. Around 145 to 160 visa-free countries, including Europe. 0 residency requirements, 0 language tests. Perfectly fine with dual citizenship. A clean, reliable program. But here's the curveball. Dominica's citizenship program funds the country's climate resilience strategy. Your money goes into hurricane-proofing the island, roads, hospitals, shelters. Most investors don't expect that, but it's a meaningful angle that adds a sense of purpose to the process. Processing takes 6 to 9 months, vetting is strict, and that's exactly why the passport stays respected. For a family wanting a cost-effective, safe, long-term travel document, Dominica hits a sweet spot that few countries match. Before we go deeper, a quick question. Which matters more to you? Pure speed or maximum visa power? Drop it in the comments. The split is always interesting to see. Now, number 5 is Antigua and Barbuda, the family-friendly program of the Caribbean. The donation is $230,000 to the National Development Fund. And while you do pay additional fees for each child, Antigua almost always ends up the cheapest option for families of 4 or more. Travel freedom includes over 150 countries, including Europe and the UK. Processing takes around 6 months. And here's the part many people miss. Antigua has a tiny residency requirement of 5 days within your first 5 years, 5 days in the Caribbean. Most investors turn that requirement into an excuse for a holiday. Antigua also has a solid real estate option, but the real selling point is simple. The more dependents you include, the more cost-effective it becomes. If your priority is getting citizenship for your whole family without passing the $300,000 mark, Antigua is one of the smartest plays in the game. The next country, though, isn't just a passport, it's a gateway. Number 4 is Grenada, the only country on this entire list with something no other Caribbean passport can offer: access to the United States through the E2 Treaty Investor Visa. And this is where strategies get interesting. When you become a Grenadian citizen, you can apply for an E2 visa to move to the US to start and run a business. Now, you still have to make a separate investment in a US company, usually $150,000 or more, and approval isn't guaranteed. But once approved, the E2 visa is renewable forever. Spouses can work in America, kids can attend school, and you're legally able to live in the US while running your own business. No other Caribbean passport does this. Grenadian citizenship includes travel to around 148 countries, including China, another unique advantage. But because demand has surged, processing is now closer to 9 to 12 months. What matters most to you? Travel freedom, taxes, or the ability to get into the US market? Drop your answer. It always splits the audience right down the middle. Number 3 is St. Lucia, and this one stands out for a very rare reason: flexibility. A $240,000 donation covers a family of up to 4, but St. Lucia's definition of family is incredibly broad: children up to age 30, parents and grandparents over 55, unmarried siblings under 18. Almost no other country allows that. Travel freedom includes about 145 countries. But here's the twist: St. Lucia's government bond program is back. And that option, unlike a donation, returns your $300,000 principal after a set holding period. If you want to preserve capital instead of spending it, this option alone can make St. Lucia the standout pick. Documentation is straightforward. Processing takes around 6 months. And for anyone with a large or complex family structure, St. Lucia's rules make it one of the most efficient and cost-effective choices. And remember, these programs are tightening every quarter, so waiting even 6 months could mean paying far more. Now, stepping outside the Caribbean entirely, number 2 brings something completely different to the table. Egypt has emerged as a powerful regional citizenship option designed to attract global investors who want access to the Middle East, Africa, and a massive domestic economy. The main entry point is real estate, typically a $300,000 property purchase. While travel freedom is smaller, around 70 visa-free or visa-on-arrival countries, the value of an Egyptian passport is regional. It unlocks access to Cairo's enormous economy, new business opportunities across the Middle East, and a strategic location at the crossroads of Europe, Africa, and Asia. Processing is fast, often around 6 months. And here's why people choose Egypt. It diversifies beyond the Caribbean. If your life and business lean toward Dubai, Qatar, Africa, or Mediterranean markets, Egypt offers doors those island passports never will. And finally, number 1, the country that built this entire industry, St. Kitts and Nevis, the world's first citizenship by investment program, launched in 1984 and still the benchmark 4 decades later. The donation starts at $250,000. Yes, it's the highest, but what you're buying is simple: the most respected brand name in the second passport world, visa-free access to over 150 countries, including Europe and the UK, the strictest due diligence in the industry, mandatory interviews, and a track record of trust that no other country has. Processing takes around 6 months, and St. Kitts remains selective because that's how it maintains its global reputation. If your top priority is long-term credibility and the most stable, predictable passport on this list, St. Kitts is still the safest bet. Of course, the donation amount is only the starting line. Every program comes with additional layers: due diligence fees, government fees, passport fees, and the mandatory cost of hiring an authorized agent. A safe estimate is to add 15 to 25% to the base investment. And here's where the stakes rise again. The Caribbean isn't done tightening rules. A joint regional authority is being formed to unify vetting standards, meaning if you're rejected by one country, the other four will almost certainly reject you too. And discussions of future mandatory residency requirements, possibly up to 30 days, are becoming more serious. The current system is still flexible, but it won't stay this way forever. We've covered Vanuatu's speed, Dominica's eco-focused credibility, Antigua's family advantage, Grenada's US gateway, St. Lucia's flexibility, Egypt's regional power, and the proven trust of St. Kitts and Nevis. Each one offers a legal path to a second citizenship, but the right choice depends entirely on your priorities: travel freedom, business opportunities, security, or long-term optionality. Final question before you go, and this one always gets mixed answers. Which of these 7 countries feels like the best fit for your goals? And what matters most? Taxes, safety, lifestyle, or global access? Drop your answer below. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. New weekly guides help you build a life with more freedom and fewer limits. And if you want deeper strategies, tax breakdowns, and country comparisons, the Horizon Society community link is in the description.